Okay, today I want to talk about the top 247 rankings release that came out on this Wednesday. Now, it's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to recap and analyze the top 247 rankings release, which came out on June 17th. So, a lot of fun. Came out at 11:30 Central Standard Time, and we saw some moving and some shaking. Now, at the top five stayed the same, right? From JT Tuimoloau all the way down to Jack Sawyer, and then we get a little bit of shaking of the tree, okay? Starting with Donovan Jackson going from number 11 to number 6, leapfrogging quarterback Caleb Williams, widely believed to be committing to Oklahoma, but we'll see about that because the Tristan Leigh thing happened, so it's anybody would know right now. We'll see. July 4th is his announcement date, but it was interesting in that I saw an offensive guard go ahead of a quarterback. So an offensive guard is more valuable to the rankings committee than the number one rated quarterback in the 2021 class. I wish that I could tell you why exactly, but if you look at Donovan Jackson on film, you'll know that he is one of the best offensive linemen in this class. I just don't know that he's better than the number one quarterback in this class. That said, Caleb Williams still at 7. He goes from 6 to 7, so we'll see about that. But with Donovan Jackson going to number 6, Jack Sawyer staying at number 5, and TreVeyon Henderson going from number 13 to number 10, Ohio State has 3 of the top 10 prospects in this 2021 cycle committed to its class. With JT Tuimoloau and Emeka Egbuka still widely considering Ohio State, they could end up with with 5 of the top 10 prospects in the class, which is like they're recruiting on the level of a team that just won the national championship. And that's why this is scary, because Ohio State didn't, right? This is like 2017 Bama recruiting, all right? And you saw how good that class ended up being with Tua Tagovailoa, Henry Ruggs, and of course Jerry Jeudy, among others. So, my goodness, Ohio State continues to be winning, and winning in a big way because they also got a boost for Jayden Ballard, who goes from being ranked 108th to 45th in the country. The lone blemish is Marvin Harrison dropping out of the top 100 from 95 to 185th. A little bit more on that later, but Ohio State still got the number one class according to the team rankings, the composite, and they're going right along, right? So Tristan Leigh also got a segment that I am going to drop with him here pretty soon, but goes from number 28 to number 14, so that's really great. That's a 100% shift. And with his recruitment picking up because of J.C. Latham committing to Alabama, I know that Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Penn State, LSU all really, really want the kiddo. And there's good reason to want him. I mean, 6'5", 270, moves very well, and is one of the top-rated offensive tackles in the class. Oklahoma needs him because Oklahoma wanted J.C. Latham and they need a tackle. But also, if you were to pick Alabama, and Tommy Brockermeyer was to pick Alabama, and Amarius Mims was to pick Alabama, you can quickly see with James Brockermeyer how that could be really an outstanding offensive line class. And the kind that's really hard to talk about in any way other than an all-timer. So we're all going to be watching what Tristan Leigh does, and his crystal balls are all over the map. And he's talking to offensive line coaches at each one of the schools that I mentioned. So we'll see. Camar Wheaton goes up 4 spots from number 46 to number 42. So does Will Shipley to number 43. Those are 2 of the top tailbacks in the class. And yeah, Shipley's already in at Clemson. Wheaton is the guy that Oklahoma wants most at running back, though LJ Johnson is right there, as is Donovan Edwards. And we'll see what that means for him. Cody Jackson still remains the highest ranked commitment at number 51, up from number 52 for Oklahoma. Is also the first commitment to that 2021 class. He's followed in OU's class by Clayton Smith, who went from number 55 to number 57. Ethan Downs is up 2 spots from number 92 to number 90. Mario Williams, who's a 5-star according to some, still can't break the top 100 for the Rankings Council, goes from 123rd to 120th. Arkansas running back and Tulsa Union product, A.J. Green, Arkansas running back commit, I should say, is up from 111th to 106th, creeping into the top 100. Also, it's worth noting that Nathan Rollins-Kybonge, who is going to announce his commitment later this afternoon, went from 165th to 164th. And a guy that Oklahoma has their eye on really wanted to pick up, J. Michael Studevant, goes from 95th to 178th. Let me check on this Marvin Harrison stat now that I read that. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes from 95th to 185th. Okay, so they're both there. And now we're talking about Savion Byrd, who I thought had the biggest drop, 36 to 76th. I'm interested because there have been some camps that are going around, and I think that some of the kids would move up quicker and some of them move down quicker if we were able to do the opening and Rivals 5-Star Challenge and those sorts of things. But there have been some FBU stuff that's been happening down in Texas. And I know that there are a few analysts that have been able to get to these things, and I guess what you see is what you see. But Donovan Edwards moving up over Caleb Williams is still wild to me. I love Donovan Jackson moving up over Caleb Williams. I like the kid's tape. I love his film. He plays opposite offensive tackle Cullen Montgomery, who is committed to Oklahoma's 2021 class down at Episcopal. But, that speaks so highly of him. If you're going to leap him over the number one quarterback in this class and the highest rated quarterback in the Mid-Atlantic region in a decade, he's going to be that good. And if you get to add him with guys like Paris Johnson, you can understand how they're very excited about the future of their offensive line at Ohio State. Also understand why Tristan Leigh is becoming such a big deal. He feels pivotal right now in a way that he frankly didn't before J.C. Latham decided to commit to Alabama. As a matter of fact, if J.C. Latham would have gone in with Ohio State like many people thought he would have, I don't know that we would be paying this much attention to Tristan Leigh or as much attention as we're paying to the rankings where Donovan has leaped over Caleb Williams. Now, there's still a handful of guys out there that can work their way up, hopefully with football season coming, and a lot of guys that are still considered in the running to win for Oklahoma, like Marcus Burris. And there was loud talk about David Abiara flipping from Notre Dame to Oklahoma for a while there. We'll see what happens. And, of course, with Christian Leary going to Alabama, Oklahoma's going to have to identify and really narrow down the guys that they want to go get. I mean, Leary was sold on the idea of being the next Jalen Waddle, which is that's really hard to beat, especially knowing that Oklahoma has made its name for wide receivers on the numbers and not necessarily in the slot, right? They can play the slot, but they play the numbers. Sterling Shepard, D.D. Westbrook, CeeDee Lamb. Also means that Corey Brooks and Ajay Hall are also moved up in the rankings. And I know that Alabama now has 2 composite 5-stars, which is a big deal. And Nick Saban continues to recruit at a very high level. I think if Drake May's in that class, you're probably talking about another top 5 finish. But until they get a quarterback, I think we're going to wait and see what happens with the offensive line and see if Kyle Flood can come in clutch to get guys like Amarius Mims, who's widely believed to be headed to Georgia, and guys like Tristan Leigh, who we can't really nail down, or the Brockermeyer brothers like Tommy and James. So I'm interested to see what this is. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the top 247 rankings release. If you believe that there's a conspiracy against Oklahoma with the moving down of Caleb Williams ahead of his announcement next Saturday, I'm here for your conspiracy theories in the comments. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.